You snapped at somebody today. Maybe your husband left the cabinet door open, or maybe your coworker asked you a question that you just didn't have the patience for. Nothing is wrong with you, but something real is happening in your body. And once you understand it, you can actually work with it instead of feeling guilty about it. This is one of those things that women bring to me with the most shame around it. Not like brain fog, where there's fear associated with, like, I'm losing my mind, but shame because nobody wants to react that way. Just snapping at people you love, it's the worst thing that you could do to yourself. You don't recognize yourself and you keep replaying it in your mind like, why did I do that? What could I have said? Or I should have said that. You apologize, but then you wonder if that was the worst version of me, or is there another one coming? I want you to take the shame off the table right away. A short fuse during perimenopause is normal. It's not a personality change. And no, you're not losing yourself. It's your body running hotter and more reactive than it used to be. And there is a real reason why. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips where you can help yourself. Let's get started with understanding the hormonal piece. Progesterone is your calming hormone. It has a settling effect on the nervous system. As it declines during perimenopause, that buffer becomes thinner. At the same time, estrogen fluctuations are affecting the brain's regulation of the emotional centers of your body, including your amygdala, which is your internal alarm system that fires off a reaction. Simply put, the gap between irritated and reaction is getting shorter. To put it simply, the gap between you having patience and getting irritated and reacting starts becoming shorter and shorter and shorter. Not because you're becoming weaker, but because that buffer system is now changing. Now, the nervous system piece, which compounds everything. You may be already under chronic stress, underslept, overstimulated, committed, running on empty. Your baseline alert is higher than before anything happens. A small trigger doesn't have far to go before a huge reaction, all because your nervous system was already starting from activation of ready to take on the world or do something. And just as a trigger comes in, that's when game over. You've lost it. You've lost control. And here's where Ayurveda can genuinely help you understand something. When there is excess anger and irritability, that means that there's excessive heat accumulated in the system. What's called Pitta dosha, the fire energy, it governs transformation and intensity. And when there's already too much heat built up in the system due to poor sleep, skipped meals, overworking, or just general stress, it takes far less to just boil over. Your snapping is not about that cabinet door or your coworker asking you a question, but because there's excessive heat in the system, it's looking for somewhere to go. And the moment you get that question or something irritates you, it all explodes. This is also why it tends to hit hardest with the people who are closest to you. So let's talk about the 3 things that you can do. The very first thing is your cooling tool. When you feel that heat rising, that hot flash before you start speaking, try a cooling breath. This is a technique, a yogic technique that helps cool that temporal area. What you do is you roll your tongue to the roof of your mouth, you bring your lips down, and you're breathing through the sides. And you'll feel this cool air coming through right away. A few rounds of this measurably will reduce that heat. The second is a phrase. You need something like a placeholder. Give me a second. Or let me get back to you. This buys you a little bit of a gap in your nervous system to help you process that moment. The third is really important. Take a look at what's feeding that heat. Why are you off balance? Is it skipped meals or is it low blood sugar? Or did you have caffeine on an empty stomach? And not enough sleep will also increase that baseline heat in the system, that pitta dosha. Now, if you want to understand more of this, this is exactly the kind of foundational work that I offer. I have a method called Be Irresistible. This is not because you'll never get irritated again, but by understanding and lowering that baseline, it'll help you to process things much better. If your own unique pattern is that you run hot all the time, then that's a different type of a dosha. If you are scattered and restless all the time, that's another kind of dosha. And if you're feeling heavy and dense and foggy in your head all the time, that's another kind of dosha. And that's why I have built this dosha quiz for you, which is completely free. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes to do, and it will tell you exactly which dosha is driving you. Now, if you've been carrying guilt around about people you've snapped at and they didn't deserve it, and you're feeling ashamed about it or trying to process it for yourself, then I want to leave you with this one thing. This is heat. It's not your character. And the heat can be cooled. Take the free dosha quiz. The link is in the description below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.